Hello, my name's Jason and welcome to a very special episode of me painting. Today we have a 18 by 24 canvas up and I'll show you step by step how to do a painting. And to start off with we need a base coat, and I use liquid white. Liquid white's from the Bob Ross Art Materials, and I'm going to cover all that, and it's going to make the canvas wet, make it slick. So let's just dip in the old 2-inch brush, and okay, put some on the end of the brush, and then using little crisscross strokes, I'm going to cover the entire canvas with liquid white. Like I said, it makes the canvas wet, makes it slick, makes it easier for us to blend colour right here on the canvas, so you don't have to do quite as much. This is a bit of a lazy method of painting, which is why I like it. Just get some more paint, more of the liquid white, and then while I'm doing this I'm trying not to pull my brush away from the canvas. That way most of the liquid white goes on the canvas rather than splat up your house or wherever you're painting. Do some longer brush strokes just to make sure we're covering the entire canvas. Let's get some more down the base. Dip into a little bit more of the old liquid white. You can just blob this on like you would put on moisturiser, and then you can connect it all up again. So if you use moisturiser, I never do. Right, here we go. So I'm just using long strokes all the way across, and all the way up and down. And then to check to see if you've got enough liquid white on, you do the fingerprint test. You put your finger on the canvas, and if you can still see your fingerprint, there's not quite enough on there yet, because I can see my fingerprint quite clearly, so I want a bit more on. Just check that again, use my finger and touch over there. Yeah, so if you can still see your fingerprint like that, then you've got enough on. If you can't see your fingerprint, then you've got too much on, and then you need to like scrape it off with a knife. You just get your knife and just whip some of it off, and then respread it again until you get it to that stage. Less is more. Okay. Right, let's talk about what I'm going to do. Now I've covered it with some liquid white, I'm going to put in a nice little sky here, and then have some hills and some trees, and keep it quite misty so we can work in layers. And then we'll have a big tree here, and maybe some water dropping down into a pool with a couple of trees here. It's quite a lot for us to do. So there's a lot for us to learn, which is all good. Okay, so let's get the palette. This is a large palette, and we have all the colours we need. I'll just go around the colours. You can see. Just remove a hair. Don't want one of those in there. So I've got some Phthalo Blue, Prussian Blue, Midnight Black, Dark Sienna, VanDyke Brown, Alizarin Crimson, and Sap Green. And then at the bottom here, we've got our yellows together. We've got some cadmium yellow, Indian yellow, yellow ochre, and then we've got some bright red. And then up here we've got some titanium white. So that's the palette we're going to use today. And let's start with the sky. So I'm going to pick up some crimson with the 2-inch brush. Still got some liquid white on, but that's okay. And some Prussian blue, and give it a tap. What I want to create is a bit of a lavender colour for our sky today. A bit more crimson. And then just give it a tap. Tap the bristles so you get an even distribution of colour on your brush. So when you come here on the canvas, you don't get any blobs. You get nice and smooth. And then you start at the top and then work down, and it gets lighter and lighter towards the horizon, which is what you want in your landscape. Okay, so tap again. Let's start in this corner, all the way along the top, and then I'm using these strokes, crisscross strokes. This is a way of blending it easier, so you're blending as you go. Very lightly. And we'll come down to about here. Okay, maybe get a bit more colour. Maybe in areas you can darken it a little bit at the top and at the corners, just so it sends your eye central rather than to the edges. So if you darken the edges, you automatically start looking in to the painting. Okay, now I'll just clean my brush. Now we clean our brush with odourless paint thinner, and we just dip our bristles into the thinner, and there's like a little scrubber in there that you scrub the brush on. And then I've got a beta rack in a bin, which is over here. I'll just move it out. And then what I do is I beat the bristles on the beta rack, and then it, if you can see the little rack inside there, and I just beat it just to get all the excess paint thinner out. So you use the bin to contain the mess, because if you beat it on the leg, you're going to get stuff everywhere. So try and contain it. Try and stay as clean as you can. I mean, you're going to get messy, but that's all part of the fun. Okay, I'm just making sure my brush is dry on a paper towel, because sometimes you'll rinse out your brush and then forget to beat it, and then when you come to go onto your painting, you'll wash all your painting off using the paint thinner. And I've done that before, so I'll give you the warning so you don't do it. Right, just lightly, just going over this, just little blends here and there. I don't want to completely get rid of all the action in the sky, just a little bit. Just going over very lightly all the way across. Right, let's put a few clouds in there. Let's put a few clouds. Let's stick with the big brush. And let's go into some of this colour. Some of the crimson and the blue. Just tapping. Just tapping. Let's tap in some clouds. Maybe there's a cloud. And he lives sort of here. Just tap in. Maybe there's another one there. Maybe there's one up here as well. Let's get a little bit of that blue. Let's cool this one down. Yeah, however you want. Just tap in. Maybe there's one up there as well. Sort of connect that. But you can do whatever you like in your sky. Just wherever you feel there could be a cloud, just put one in. And then using a clean dry brush, then you can go over those just very lightly, straight across, sort of blend them into the painting, straight across. Okay, I'll do for that. Now, in the background, way off in the distance, maybe there's some hills. So using the same colour, crimson and blue, Prussian Blue, Alizarin Crimson, on the fan brush. This is the number 3 fan brush, the number 3. It's a very useful little brush, you can do all sorts with it once you get used to it. Maybe I'll throw in a little bit of white. It's good to practice with all the brushes, because eventually you can do anything with any of the brushes, and then whichever brush you've got at hand, that's the one you'll paint with, and you can do anything. Just practice, that's all. So let's just put in the indication of a hill there. Just pull that down in the distance. Then you can use a 1-inch brush just to mist that up at the base. Just tapping, sort of tapping. You can pull it. Just pull it down and then mist it away. Okay. And then maybe we've got another layer in front of that. Maybe we can go here. We can sort of thinking about different hill shapes. Bring that one in front there. Just pull that down. So that gives us another hill, another layer. Back to our 1-inch brush, it's the landscape 1-inch brush. We can pull that out as well. Twist it up. Okay. Maybe you want another one. I'll grab a little bit of this Phthalo Blue in this one, just to change the colour a little bit, get a bit more of a bluish. Maybe there's one here. It's a little more bluer. Just adds a different level, just by changing the colour a little bit. Okay, maybe it goes up there. But you can keep going with this, keep bringing them lots of different levels. As long as you've got that lighter area in the middle, you're fine. You can keep working on it. Okay. And then maybe it comes across there as well. Maybe we've got a hill that goes. Maybe it goes and then all the way in front like that. Maybe he's a bit bigger. Okay, back to the old 1-inch brush, and let's bring this one down as well. See, it mixes with a liquid white and then gets lighter automatically. And you can create angles. Okay, now then let's start coming forward a little bit. Let's use another 1-inch brush. Let's go into the same colour, go a little bit darker. So I'm using a 1-inch brush and I'm just picking up some of the blue and the crimson. Same 2 colours, just a bit more paint. Maybe there's a row of trees. I'll just use the corner, just pull down. We'll put in like treetops. Just sort of pulling down. Crimson, a little bit of the blue. You can change the flavour now and then. More blue, more crimson, it's up to you. Okay, then using a clean dry brush, let's use that one we used before. And you can tap the base of that. Just tapping, just so it mists up with the liquid white. Okay, so it's very misty, very misty. And then you can start putting in a few little details maybe. The liner brush. A little bit of paint thinner. We'll go into the same colour. It's very, very thin, thin as ink. Maybe we can pick out a few little areas where the tree trunks and stuff are. You can put in the indication of a few distant trees. They're quite far away, so you don't see too much. But just an indication. See all these little details that you add. That's what could sell your picture. We're not all interested in selling, but if you are, these little details, that's what helps. So I read somewhere, can't remember where, but they say the longer you spend on your picture, the longer someone will look at it. So spend a bit of time on it. But then there's the other problem of if you spend too much time on your painting, it'll look like it's been laboured on and for some reason doesn't look right. So it's finding that balance. I think we've all we've been painting a bit. We've all messed up a perfectly good picture by fiddling around with it. I know I have anyway. Okay, let's put in a few little branches here and there. Just wherever. Maybe there's a few gone above. Maybe it's got no more. There's nothing on it anymore. It's just a dead tree. Right, let's start moving forward a little bit. Let's get the old 2-inch brush and let's get some crimson, Prussian blue, crimson and Prussian blue, crimson and blue, maybe a little bit of midnight black as well, and then tap on the bristles. We're going to put in some dark area for our light to show. I'm just tapping in some dark, and up here, just putting in some dark. This is going to be our base colour for like the yellows, because as it gets closer to us, then we start to see more colour. So we'll start putting in, put this in, and then we'll start putting the colour in. So you can block this in all the way to the base if you want to. Doesn't really matter, because we can change things as we go. Okay. And over here, just tapping, just blocking it in. Just blocking it all in. Okay, now let's start putting in some grass. Maybe there's a... Oh. Sometimes when you're looking, you start seeing things, and I see maybe there's a few trees ahead, bigger trees. So let's use the 1-inch brush. Let's pick up this same colour, crimson and blue, and there's a bit of black. Maybe there's a tree, and he's there. Just using the corner of the brush. Sort of there. Maybe there's one there. Maybe there's another one next to him. Who knows? Maybe there's a smaller one there. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. And then using the liner brush, a bit of paint thinner again, back into our colours. Back into our colours. Twisting the bristles. Let's put in the indication of a tree trunk, a few little branches. Wherever, in the light areas, that's where they'll show up. Okay. And then let's use another 1-inch brush. Let's get a little bit of this colour. Got sap green, some yellow, a bit of that dark, so it's not too light yet. Okay, and then just push up into the paint, so you get some paint on the end of your bristles. Okay, now then, let's highlight that. Let's say the light's coming this way, so we'll highlight that on this side. That's still quite far away. Thinking about the shape of the tree. We'll just give it an indication of some little branches. I don't want to do it too bright though. Keep it quite light. Quite dark, I mean, sorry. In the background. Just here and there, just to give it an indication of a few little trees back there. And then let's go into our 2-inch brush again. Just use the dirty brush, it's okay. It's got some blue on there, so when you mix it with the yellows, it will go green. And if you haven't got enough green on your brush, just pick up some sap green, bung that in, and push up, and you get that little ridge of paint. You get one of those ridges on your brushes, pull it and then push up, and then you get it on the end of your bristles, and then we can start tapping in some grass. Just tapping in. Start working on the lay of the land. Lay of the land. Get some more yellow. Let's brighten this up a little bit. That's better. Maybe sort of goes like that. And the more you tap, the softer this gets. it softer, softer, softer. Okay, let's start working on this side as well. Like I say, the more you tap, the softer it gets. It starts mixing with the colour that's underneath. Maybe in this recess we've got some water. So let's get the fan brush, and let's get some of this Phthalo Blue on the number 3 fan. This is maybe a bit of Prussian as well. Prussian Blue, Phthalo Blue. And let's put in some of this colour to indicate where our water is. Okay. Okay. And then use another fan brush, and we'll dip into some, get a little bit of liquid white on your brush, and then we'll pick up some of this blue and white, and titanium white, like a lighter colour. And it's thinner, so it'll go on top of that blue we just put on. Let's imagine we're the water. So we need to maybe the water comes down there, little splash there, and it starts flowing out, and it falls down there as well and splashes. Here it's splashing down and it's playing. If you want to create little splashes, you just sort of touch and push. Maybe it's hitting rocks and stuff. Maybe here, more paint. Maybe here it sort of comes down. You want to try and do it just one time while it does that. So it goes like that. And splashes. Okay, and then let's work on that grass on the edges again. Maybe this grass sort of comes over, falls down into there and across there. Just sort of pushes the water further into the painting, really. That sort of goes like that. Okay, maybe there's a maybe here I've got a big tree. So let's just put in a bit of grass here. We'll clean this up in a minute. Okay, let's get in a big tree. Let's use another brush, another fan brush. Let's use a bigger one. Let's use a number 6 fan brush, bigger fan brush. And let's put in a huge tree. Let's get some VanDyke Brown and a bit of Midnight Black. VanDyke Brown, Midnight Black. Loads of paint. Loads of paint on the brush. It's time to go to get some paint because we're using loads. Okay, and let's put in our big tree, and he lives right here. It does now. Put him in. Okay. And he's got some big roots. One of them sort of goes here, across that water. And another one, another root, sort of goes there. Maybe another one here. And some roots that go out there. It's a big tree and it needs holding in with all these different roots, gnarly roots. Okay. And he's got a branch that's there. Lots of paint. Lots of paint. Okay, and he's got another branch. Big branch that's there maybe. Well, he has now. You can't rub that one out. That one's there. Maybe it's a bit thicker there. Okay. And maybe there's another one over this side. Maybe there's another big tree. Maybe there's one there. Oh, there's one there now. It's good fun doing these trees. And if you've got a picture of a tree that you've taken that you liked, take your picture out, have a look, try and put that tree in. Or if you want to make your own tree up, then that's fine as well. It's totally up to you. I'll give him some roots as well. Okay, maybe he's got a branch that goes. Oh, he's got another one that goes off there. Maybe that branch goes all the way around like that. Maybe there's another one that sort of goes like that. Yeah. Maybe let's put some grass in there. See, what you've got to think about is always coming forwards. And I just thought it'd be nice to have another tree there, but then need a bit of grass behind it. Okay, so let's put another one in there now. Now we've got that grass behind, we don't have to worry about it. And maybe this one sort of leans a little bit. Maybe it sort of leans out of the frame. Maybe it's sort of there. Sort of like that. And trees that lean over like that, they'll have branches that go upwards like this. Well, this one does. Have them like that. Okay, right, let's start highlighting this tree. So I'm going to pick up the knife and get some dark sienna, some titanium white, touch of bright red. Make it sort of marbly like that. You don't want to over mix your colours. You want to make it marbly so when you put it on the tree, get a few different colours all at the same time. Then cut across. Just get a bit more of that white. And cut across. Get a little roll of paint. And then thinking our light's coming this way, so we can very lightly sort of drag the paint out on this side. Just very light pressure. Very light pressure. And just let the paint break. Just let it break. That's what gives you all these different colours, and it'll be really thick paint, so it'll look and feel like bark. Just get a bit more white, just pull that through, cut across, little roll of paint. Let's lighten up this bit. But no pressure, no pressure. Very lightly. And then on the other side I'll pick up a little bit of the dark colour. A little bit of our highlight in with the dark. Cut across, little roll of paint again. We can put in the shadow side. Same way, no pressure, very lightly. Then you can sort of bring it together. Back and forth with some light and some dark. And that will give you the highlight. Okay. And then we want to do our roots as well. So we can bring those out. Sort of just touch and then go round. Touch and go round, but very light pressure. Just an indication. So where the light's just hitting the root and lightly. Light pressure. It's quite dark over here, so we'll just use a little bit of the darker colour to go over that. And then we want to do this branch as well. So let's do this big branch up here, get a bit of the highlight colour. Again, just bring some of that along. When it gets a little more tricky, you can go to the detail knife, the smaller knife. Makes it a little bit easier. And just sort of tap along there, and then a little bit on this bit here. Not too much, because that's behind the tree. And then we can start doing this tree over here. Same again. Thinking about where the light is. I'm not going to go quite as light on these trees because they're not really in focus in comparison to this tree. This tree is the star of the show. Where these ones, they're sort of like the assistant cast, supporting cast. Okay, and get down there. But it's all about the light pressure. The light pressure. And that's what gets your paint to break. Okay. Just mix a little bit more of that colour. Dark sienna and the white. Just get a little bit more of that on there. No pressure though. No pressure. There's a bit of dry paint there. Let's get rid of that. Okay, and then there's this branch here. That's another way you can do it, is you can tap. Sort of joins there. Just go a little bit rounded there. And a little bit along there. put a little bit of leaves and stuff on there as well, so we can cover some of this up. So it's up to you how long you spend on these. You can make them really detailed. It's up to you. Just showing you how to do it, and then you can really go for it. Maybe, I feel like there should be a bit of red on there. Let's get a bit of the bright red. Tiny bit of white. Just want to warm this bit up. Just there. Not too much. Don't overdo. A little bit there as well. Okay, that'll do. Just wanted to warm that part of the tree up. And then, now we need to, got some water we need to put in. So we're going to have the water just going psh over this. And then over that. And then we'll have water all along here. Sort of like that. So let's just grab this. Let's grab a 2-inch brush, just so we can put our water in. Just pull that down. Pull that down. And then go across. Just to let us know where our water starts. Okay. It sort of goes there. Okay. Maybe we will do a few bushes there as well. Let's just put our water in first. So using back to a number 3 fan brush, and we'll pick up some of the white, bit of phthalo blue, and let's pick up some liquid white to make it a bit thinner, so it'll stick over this brown a little bit more. Okay, so it's quite thin. Load in the brush. You can sort of push it into the paint, which gives you a little bit of paint on the end of the bristles, which sometimes makes it easier. If you struggle to have the paint fall off, that might be a good way for you to do it. So the water's sort of travelling behind this, and then it's filling up, and then just goes over and splashes at the base. And if you've got a bit of brown on your brush, just wipe it on a paper towel, and then you can carry on. And it's going there and splashing. So I find it best to just keep reloading. Wipe your brush, load again, and then you can splash in there, playing. Maybe the water. See, the water's coming out here as well. Maybe it's, there's another one there. You can splash that. You can do anything. Maybe there's some ripples in the water there. Just using like a little brush strokes. And then even maybe there, back to our brush with the brown on. Maybe you can see like a bit of a reflection of that tree, and you could see some of that tree as well. Just put a bit of brown in. All these little details you can do. Let's just pull that down and go across. Pull that down as well into the water and then go across. Then we can go back to our white. Because this water is moving really, we can just start putting some little ripples on there. over. Okay, let's start putting some grassy bits in, sort of just to push that tree down and those trees. Let's use this dirty brush. Let's get some of this Cad Yellow, Indian Yellow, Yellow Ochre, which is starting to fall into the red. Let's just move that. Sap Green. Loads of yellows, loads of colours on the brush. And then using the fan brush, we can start pushing up. Put some grass in there. All I'm doing is touching and pushing, just to push this tree down. And push it down, and if this is a little dicey, I'm going to use my finger here to get this brown shape. Now, some famous painters use their fingers a lot, so when I read that I was like, maybe I should start doing that. And sometimes it works. Works really well, but the only problem is you get paint on your finger. Okay, just put some grassy areas in there, maybe in here, just sort of just below there. Put a bit of grass there as well. Just sort of pushes that root in. And let's bring this one up there. You get all kinds of little colours. So you're mixing it all on your bristles, and then as you push up, it all comes off. All the different shades come off. Okay. And then you're thinking about angles as well. Think about angles as you're putting in your grass. Thinking about the lay of the land. A bit more in there. Then of course you can put some of that in the water. Just a little reflection. And maybe some lighter bits here and there. So I'm going to go into some white. Go into some white in with the yellow. I'm making a really light colour. This is going to be my highlighted grass. So on this side, it's a bit lighter. And then on that side it's a little darker. So we'll leave that. Maybe there's a bit there. Okay, now let's start working on the shadow as well. Let's just get a bit of this black. As you know, black and yellow makes green. So it's making a darker shade, and let's just put a little bit of that in here, just as our shadow side, just to make this tree cast a bit of a shadow there. And on this side as well. It's just a little extra detail. You can do it. Okay, well, let's I think maybe there's some land here. Maybe the land sort of comes along here. Let's start blocking this bit in. Some dark. Maybe there's a rock. Maybe there's a rock living out here as well. Let's get the knife and some midnight black. Cut across, little roll of paint. Let's put in a big rock here. Okay, and using a bit of the white and black. There's a bit of blue in there as well. Cut across, little roll of paint. Maybe let's highlight this side. Using no pressure, no pressure. Putting a bit of a rock there. Okay, and then using the fan brush, let's get our grassy colours again. Grassy colours. Let's put in a little bit of grass at the base of that rock. Okay, maybe we can use the liner. And let's put in a few little sticks and twigs and things. Maybe we'll use the liner brush and put in a few little sticks and twigs. Just turning the bristles. Maybe there's a little sort of stick there. Maybe let's go into this black. Make it quite thin. A little bit of black and a little bit of brown in there. I'll just put in a few little longer bits of grassy areas. A little bit of detail there. Wherever you want. Put in a few of these little grassy bits. You can go with a dark colour. We could go with the light, it's up to you. I'm just sort of playing dark over light, light over dark. Okay, maybe I'll get some of this yellow. Just throwing it on the brush. I'll put a few in here as well. And maybe I'll get some of this light colour. Make a light green. Put in a few with that colour. It's up to you. Just all these extra details. Just adds a little bit more to your painting. Okay, maybe let's have a look at this side here. Maybe I can add a little blue. A bit of white and blue. Cut across, a little roll of paint on the detail knife. Just a little bit of blue that's sort of this side of the tree. Just sort of cools it down. Maybe a bit on that one as well. Just a little bit. Okay, now I want to put in a few little bit of greenery. So I'm getting 2-inch brush, tapping into some of this crimson and Prussian blue. Let's just put in the indication of a bit of where the the leaves are, right at the top of the trees. Right at the top. There's a little bit there, and a bit there. Okay, this gives us an indication. And then we can, let's add a few branches as well, just to add a little bit more detail to that. A little bit of the brown and paint thinner, the brown. Let's just add a few little extra branches, wherever you want. Because you can spend a long time doing these paintings. You can really have fun with it, which is probably the most important part of doing painting, is because you enjoy it. So if you didn't enjoy it, you wouldn't want to do it. And it's fun. And that's why I do it, because it's good fun. I enjoy it. Okay, let's grab hold of the 2-inch brush, go into this yellow, Cad Yellow, Indian Yellow, Yellow Ochre, all on the brush, and then push up. And let's, remembering our lights this way, just looking at the branches and thinking about where the light would hit. This one. Okay. This one over here. Thinking about angles. Wherever. Okay. But leave those dark areas so you can see the highlights that way. Okay then. Maybe there's a little bit on there. Who knows? There's a bit on this one as well. You can do that. Okay, so I'll get the old liner brush. Let's go into some bright red. Bright red. Make it nice and thin. Thin as ink. Thin as ink. Really thin. So that's where it'll stick. Thin paint sticks to a thicker paint. That's the wet on wet golden rule. And let's give this a signature right here. Right under the rock. J B and a little bird for the masters. Okay, well, thanks very much for watching this painting. It gives you a lot to work on, a lot to try out, and I hope you give it a go and do a fantastic picture. Okay, cheers, bye. So after you've finished your painting, it's always a good idea to step back and make sure everything's okay. Well, you should really be stepping back quite a lot during your painting. Fortunately and embarrassingly, I wasn't. I was very close, and then when I did step back, I noticed, uh-oh, this reflection is not right. It doesn't line up with that. So they say trees and bushes cover up a multiple of sins. So let's cover this up. Let's put in a bush right there. Right there. Just using some dark on the 2-inch brush. And now our problem is resolved. Just put in a little bush. Let's get some Cad Yellow on the 1-inch brush. Just pull it in one direction and get a little bush shape. little brush shape. Get one of those on your bristles, and then on this brush, just touch quite lightly. We get our lacy effect. Okay, and then using the little knife, we can scrape in a few little sticks and twigs, and then we're all done. It's just a little sneaky way to get rid of your mistakes, my mistake, and no problems. So thanks very much for watching this, and I hope you enjoyed it and learnt a lot, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers, bye.